This video will go over how to create tables inside of Google Docs and some simple formatting. So we're here on our Google homepage. We're signed in. We're going to go to the waffle, and then we are going to go to Google Docs. If you already have a doc that you would like to use created, then you can find it here, or you could search for it in the search bar. But we're going to create a blank document. And then we'll title it. All right, so whenever we input a table, we have some options for how we want to begin that table. We're going to go to Insert and then Table. Here we can decide how many rows and how many columns we would like for our table to have. But if we are incorrect, then it's okay, because we can always go back in and change it later. So a lot of my participants have been making sign-in sheets with their tables. So I'm going to create one of those right now. So I'm going to do 4 columns across, and let's go with 8 columns down, or 8 rows down. Okay, so the other thing is sometimes when you're creating a table, especially if it's a sign-in sheet, you're going to want to put this in landscape. So if it is currently in portrait, which is your default, you're going to go to File. You're going to go all the way down here to Page Setup. And then you're going to click on Landscape. You can also change the margins here. If you're going to be printing, you probably want to stay at least a 1/2 inch, 0.5. But if you're not going to be printing it, you could go out even further if you would like. And then hit OK. All right, now I'm going to make this just a little bit smaller so that you can see the whole thing. And this is where I start creating my table and what I want it to look like. So this is where we get into the formatting. So I am going to want to put a heading in the top of my table that goes all the way across that first row. So I can do something called merged cells. In order to do that, all I have to do is highlight all the cells that I want to merge together so I can get rid of those lines that are between these cells. And then I'm going to go to Format, Table, Merge Cells. So I selected those cells first, and then I went to Format, Table, Merge Cells. Now, if you don't like how it looks later on, you can always go back and unmerge those cells and they will go back, but you also always have access to that undo button. So if you realize that you don't like it, you can go ahead and undo it. All right, so here I'm going to write the name of this classroom. So let's say that this is the pre-K sign-in sheet. So some formatting that you might want to do here is center the title. So I'm going to select the text, triple click, and then I'm going to come up here to these dots so I can see more on my toolbar. And then I can change this from a left alignment to a center alignment. And that's going to go ahead and change where my words show up. I can also make these words larger by clicking on the plus sign where it says increase font size. And while it is highlighted, I can also change the font to whatever I would like it to say. Okay, then I can just go through and I can write what I would like to write here. So if I have another heading, this is for name. This one is for signature or time, signature, and whatever else I want to put here. If I don't like the formatting of that, I can always just highlight the whole thing and then change that formatting the way that I would like it to look. I also have the option to change the color of not just the font, but also the background of these cells. So if you're printing these, that might not be something you want to do, but if you're color coding your sheets, you might just want to change the background color of just that top cell. So I highlighted that top cell, and then I go to the paint can where it says background color. and then I can make it whatever color I want. Okay, sometimes I am going to want to make these columns different lengths because some things take up more space than others, right? So if I want to do that, all I have to do is put my cursor on the lines that I'm trying to move. And then you see this double arrow shape that comes up, and you're going to click and then move those lines to wherever you would like them to be. Like this. Okay, so what if I end up with more rows or columns than I wanted and I need to get rid of them? So all I need to do is click inside of the row or column that I'm trying to get rid of. And then I go back to Format, Table. In this case, I'm deleting a column. So I'm going to delete the column, and now it's gone. So I can go back in and I can re-stretch things out the way that I want them, make sure I have enough room for everything, make sure it's the way that I want. Now, let's say I realize I don't have enough rows or columns. I'm going to do something very similar. So I want to add some rows to this. So I'm going to stick my cursor in this last row here. I'm going to go to Format, Table, and I'm going to insert a row. You can insert a row below or above, and I can just continue to do that until I have what I want. And then I am finished.